So let's talk about AI in research. It feels like this amazing new tool, right? But it comes with a massive paradox. The very systems we've built to catch AI cheating, well, they can't seem to tell the difference between a robot and William Shakespeare. And I want to kick things off with a fact that is going to completely change how you think about AI detection.
You heard that right. 74%. Researchers took the Bard's actual writing, fed it into a top-tier AI detector, and it basically said, yep, that's a robot. Now, this isn't just some funny little anecdote. It's a giant red flag exposing a deep fundamental flaw in how we're trying to police AI, and it's setting the stage for a very real crisis that's unfolding in universities as we speak.
So before we even get into why these detectors are so broken, we have to understand the damage that AI is already causing all on its own. There's this phenomenon called hallucination, and believe me, it's not just a minor glitch, it's become an absolute nightmare for academic integrity.
To see just how high the stakes are, we need to look at the story of Professor Ye Zhaohui at Hong Kong University. This was a seriously respected academic. We're talking over 700 published papers to his name. But his entire reputation was about to be completely shattered by a single paper from one of his Ph.D. students. And the whole thing collapsed with breathtaking speed. In November, the paper gets flagged. The investigation quickly reveals the student used AI, and it just made things up, invented sources out of thin air. It even fabricated papers that were supposedly written by Professor Yi himself. By December, just a month later, he had resigned from his leadership positions. And here's the really crucial part. The excuse, I didn't know my student used AI, it didn't work. Ultimately, the responsibility landed squarely on his shoulders.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 39%. Nearly 40% of the paper's scientific foundation was pure fiction, just generated by a machine. And these weren't simple typos, these were completely non-existent articles, fake journals, made-up authors, all of it looking perfectly real. So how on earth does something like this even happen?
Okay, this is the absolute key to understanding the problem. An AI is not a search engine. It's not looking things up in a library. It is a prediction engine. So when you ask it for sources, it doesn't go out and find them. It creates them based on patterns it's learned. It knows what a citation is supposed to look like, author, year, title, journal, and it just generates a brand new one that fits the pattern, whether it's real or not. And this right here shows you all of the common traps. If you give an AI any of these prompts, you are practically begging it to hallucinate, asking it to write a lit review, or find papers to back up your argument. You're basically asking it to be creative, and that is exactly what it's going to do.
All right, so the AI is creating fake sources. The obvious answer is to use an AI detector to catch it, right? Well, not so fast. This is where we get to the paradox. The very tools that are designed to solve the problem are, in many ways, just as flawed and just as dangerous. Which brings us right back to good old Shakespeare.
So how do these detectors actually work? Well, they're not looking for some secret AI watermark in the text. They're just analyzing writing style, and they focus on two main things: perplexity, which is basically how surprising and unpredictable your word choice is, and burstiness, which measures how much your sentence lengths vary. Humans, we tend to score high on both. AI, on the other hand, scores really low.
I think the best way to picture this is a jazz solo versus a metronome. Human writing is like jazz. It's got varied rhythm, surprising notes, a really dynamic flow. AI writing is like a metronome. It's just perfectly even, totally predictable, and super consistent. It uses the most common words and keeps all its sentences around the same length.
And right here, this is the paradox in action. What kind of writing is clear, structured, and uses standard, predictable language? Scientific and technical writing. And who often uses more straightforward sentences and a more focused vocabulary? Non-native English speakers. So the very people who need to write with the most clarity are the ones who are most likely to be falsely accused of cheating by these tools. It's a total catch-22.
So what we have is an AI that confidently lies, and a set of detectors that confidently accuse the innocent. It is a complete mess. So how do you possibly navigate this? Well, you need a clear defensive rulebook. This is your practical guide to using AI ethically and protecting yourself.
Okay, this is probably your single most important takeaway. Think of using AI in 3 zones, like a traffic light. Green is the safe zone, low-level stuff like grammar checks, formatting, debugging code.
Yellow is the caution zone. These are tasks where you need heavy human oversight, and you have to declare that you used AI in your paper, like improving sentence flow or generating a rough outline that you then completely rewrite. And then there's red, the forbidden zone. This means writing any core text, generating data, and, as we've seen, generating a reference list. Never, ever do that.
And because you might be falsely accused even when you're innocent, you absolutely need an alibi. The key is to document your entire process. Save every single version of your document to show how it evolved over time. Keep your handwritten notes, your mind maps, your email discussions with your supervisor, and of course, your raw data. You have to be able to create a paper trail that proves the work and the thinking was yours.
So all of this brings us to the final, really tough question. The systems we have right now are clearly failing. As AI gets better and better, maybe even indistinguishable from human writing, our whole idea of academic integrity is being put to the test. So who do we trust to be the final judge of what's true? Is it humans, universities, or are we just waiting for a smarter AI to solve the problem? Let us know what you think.